Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how I cook a slow cooked beef oxtail. The same recipe and the steps can be used with beef ribs as well, whether with bone or without. So first you start with searing the meat. Now over here, because these pieces of meat have a lot of fat on them already, I'm not going to be adding oil. I'm just going to be using the fats of the meat itself to grease the pan. As you can see, there's more than enough fat around the meat to do so. So you want to even sear on all sides of the meat. The pan heat is currently high. This is to ensure that the outside is brown and it's not fully cooked inside. So take as much time as you need to sear the meat. There really is no right or wrong time. You don't want it overly burned, but you want it a nice golden brown all around. Now we're going to be using the same pan at the same high heat, so just leave everything there after you've taken your pieces of meat out. And then we're going to sear onions. Here I'm using 2 large onions. Now you do really want it quite hard. The onions will caramelize and they will add a lot of sweetness to the dish. And they will also neutralize any strong beefy flavor that the tails or the ribs may add. After 10 minutes, just turn the onions over. Now you can see, yes, they are very charred. We do want that. And they are a little bit softer than they were before. So turn them to the other side so it gets both sides really seared. Now, yes, it does look like it's severely burnt, but trust me, this adds to the flavor, and this is very important for a slow cooked beef dish. You really do want the caramelization to happen. You do want the sweetness in the dish itself. Now at this point, the onions have been seared for a further 10 minutes, so that's 20 minutes in total just searing the onions. They should be very, very soft and squishy. The smell at this point in time is awesome. The entire kitchen, if not the entire house, would be smelling of onions at this point in time. Now we're going to be using the same pan. Don't take out anything, don't wash anything. Just turn the heat down to a medium. Now I'm going to add in about 3/4 cup of bone broth. You can use broth, stock, you can even use leftover soup, as long as it's not a cream-based soup. Now this is really, in my opinion, what makes or breaks the flavor of the slow-cooked dish. Here I'm adding portobello mushrooms, but really you can add in your aromatics here as well if you want to add in your rosemary or your oregano, whatever it may be. After I've added in everything, I'm just going to cover the pan and let it simmer for a total of 2 hours on the stove at medium heat. After an hour, I usually like to just check on the dish, turn over the meat so that both sides get soaked in the broth. And really, that's the difference between using a pan on the stove and using the oven. You can put this in the oven for 2 hours as well at 220 degrees Celsius, but it makes it a little bit harder because you have to take it out of the oven, flip the meat, and then put it back in. So I do find the stovetop a lot easier. After 2 hours, the kitchen smells delicious. Most of the broth, you can see over there, it has been either absorbed in by the meat, onions, the mushrooms, or pretty much evaporated. So you're not really left with a lot of broth. This anyway isn't meant to be a soupy dish. It's really a meat dish with a little bit of sauce on the side. If you did, of course, prefer to have a lot more sauce, you can definitely add in more broth, although I do recommend adding it in the middle as you flip the meat as opposed to adding in too much broth right at the start. I think it just helps with the control and you don't go overboard when you do it. That's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you did enjoy it. Bye for now!